Alright, random rider here, getting set up in a parking lot. It's a nice sunset over there. Camera's in position, alright. It's a nice sunset up there. Alright, let's try this. Hopefully, sound will work with me this time. So, I have over 600 miles on the bike now, and I have to actually get its first service, which I'm going on the 22nd. I have an appointment, so that'll be fun, and making sure I have everything. Okay, anyway, going on the 22nd. So I thought I'd do a video on my thoughts of the Super Tenere. Seeing I pretty much went through the break-in period, which is decent amount of saddle time, and kind of do like another video, I guess reflections or whatever, of the Super Tenere. Going over things I like about it, things I recommend getting for it if you want to get a Super Tenere. And NT8 actually is looking, I believe, to purchase a Super Tenere, so I guess this video will go out to him. I'm going to take the long way home because I don't want to go up to speed. I want to make sure the audio works. Anyway, the Super Tenere has been a joy to ride. It's taller than the bike I had before this, which was the FZ6R. And it's a completely different beast. That was a sport bike. This is a adventure touring / dual purpose. The seat height is adjustable, and they make a lower seat for it. So I think you can get the seat height without messing with the ground clearance of the bike. I think you can get the seat height down to around 32 or 31 inches, which isn't bad compared to the bike I was thinking about getting, which was pretty much the KTM 990 Adventure, which is an awesome looking bike. I was looking at that before re-looking at this one, and that seat height isn't really that adjustable, if at all, if I recall, and it's like 33 or 35 inches high, so it's a big difference in seat height with having the two-setting seat height plus the lowered seat. I have a stock seat in a low position, and it's pretty much fine for me. I actually just recently tried out its sport mode, and that's got power. Like, the power is there in sport mode. It's definitely a lot quicker in response. So sport mode is definitely what the name implies. Having never driven a drive shaft bike before, I wasn't sure what I was in for, and after riding it for 600 plus miles, it's great. It, to me, feels like the chain bike I had before this. It doesn't really feel that different in terms of how it reacts or anything. If anything, it's I guess this part being Yamaha, it's a very smooth going bike. It's not very jerky when you change gears or do anything. I'm not sure if that's due to the drive shaft final drive or just for its constant mesh transmission. I haven't tried the different traction control settings. I haven't even tried taking it off-road yet. Mostly due because I don't have a skid plate on the bike yet. And speaking of skid plates, if anybody's interested in getting a Super Tenere, I recommend getting a skid plate for it. It's a dry sump, I think it's called. So the engine's pretty low and it's right there, and the oil filter's right there, and basically a lot of things that can get damaged. Hey, that was awesome! Check that guy out. Jackass. The engine's kind of vulnerable. It's low. It keeps the center of gravity down. Makes it, I believe, is part of making it a nimble bike. But it's exposed, and what you get stock is kind of like a splash. I call it a splash plate. It's this little rubber plastic cover, which pretty much keeps like liquid if you splash puddles on it off the engine for the most part. Whatever. It's really not going to protect anything. Is it better than nothing? Maybe, but it doesn't even really cover a lot. The skid plate from Yamaha, the way it bolts in, has been known to cause damage to the engine in the event of a major bottoming out on some rocks or any type of actual pretty heavy hits. It doesn't happen all the time, but it's a definite known occurrence. Can't see shit out of my mirror. Anyway, it's definitely a known occurrence, so I would not recommend getting the Yamaha skid plate only because I wouldn't personally want a hole in my engine from it bottoming out on some rocks. As far as skid plates go, there's quite a few companies that make them. There's actually a decent amount of aftermarket support for the bike. I guess because it has been around in Europe for a year and has done well. I guess that's part of it. Or 2 years, I forget exactly. But, come on, guy. I definitely plan to get a skid plate. There's what they call crash bars, or engine guard. Yamaha makes one. People use it. Seems to be fine. I have the Alt Rider crash bars on my machine. I like theirs out of all the ones that were offered. They seem to have done a good job with their homework. Connection was easy. But anyway, that's my thought on the protection there. As far as luggage systems go, I hear the side cases for the Yamaha Super Tenere are okay, but the top case is a bit of a problem. I heard some stories of it working great, but being really a pain in the ass to put your lock cylinder into, and things like that. There's GV or GV, however it's pronounced, has the Trekker cases which will fit on the Super Tenere, and they give you a whole bunch of accessory brackets and whatnot for that they make, so that's cool. The bike does have optional heated grips, which I wish were standard. From what I hear, Yamaha's heated grips are actually pretty good. The control panel is a little box and it sits on your handlebar, so it's kind of a little sore thumbish, which is whatever. I mean, it's not like I'm trying to win a beauty award here, but there's a company that makes an adaptive bracket, so it goes down here somewhere, which is kind of cool. I actually have one on a group order coming. As far as actual riding goes, which is what I intended to talk about, but started talking about accessories. It's a good riding bike. It rides great. People with skill can take it on some pretty technical dirt roads. Its 6-gallon gas tank is it's a nice thing to have. It's got a fuel gauge, which I like because I'd rather not guess on how much fuel I have. And it has a pretty nice instrument cluster. It's got, the time and everything in there. But really, I mean, I enjoy it. Now, there is one thing about the exhaust. It sounds fine to me, but if people like aftermarket exhausts, as I move my handlebars around, I'm not really focusing, I don't know which ones are certified as far as having a spark arrestor. Stock pipe is fine, but Rangers around certain parks you can ride in. It depends where you are. Certain states have regulations too for spark arresters. And there's one thing they check is if you can put in an aftermarket spark arrestor into one of those pipes, then you should be fine. But as far as riding the beast, as some call it, it's a lot of fun to ride. It's nimble, it's quick, it can keep up and be no problem. It's 1200cc parallel twin engine. It's a blast to ride. I like it because it's not high revving. I like the torque is there to go. You don't feel like you're really exerting the engine if you're at in final gear going 70 plus because it's not really revving that high. And I like that feeling because it makes me feel a little more comfortable about going long distances with this bike because it's not constantly high revving. Not that high revving bikes are bad. I mean, that's what sport bikes are, pretty high revving, and I guess they're, machined for that, but peace of mind, I guess, for me is lower revving. And check out this guy. I don't know if you can see him. I can, though. He's on his phone texting. What kind of idiot texts while driving? Honestly. He doesn't know there's a thing going on, really, except for the guy right in front of him. Probably doesn't even know there's somebody behind him, really. I mean, he knows, but doesn't really know who or what or how far. What an asshole. Anyway, My thoughts on Super Tenere after 600 plus miles on it, the same as my thoughts after initially riding it for a day, which is it's a blast to ride. I really enjoy it. Um, Yamaha really did their homework when they made the bike. It's it's not flashy. I mean, it has things that like KTM doesn't put on the 990 Adventure. Um, I guess for more ruggedness, but it definitely has some refined features, if you will. It's got the clock on it standard and a fuel gauge, which not every bike has. Some bikes just have reserve. It has your temperature for the engine, has your odometer and all that. It's got a tachometer and all that jazz. Um, there are a decent amount of accessories directly from Yamaha. The taller windshield I feel is a bit of a must. This windshield on it right now, or windscreen, whatever you want to call it, it works okay, but I feel a taller one will definitely be a bonus. And then they make brackets that you can sub out to make it adjustable, like on the fly instead of having to take it off. Because it is adjustable, but you gotta pretty much take it apart, put it back on. So if you want something on the fly with like a knob you just turn or whatever, then I might look for like a bracket. Anyways, I think I'm rambling on long enough. Uh, in conclusion, if you're considering the Super Tenere as a bike and you want to use it for touring, going long distance, want to be able to hit a fire road or just go, hey, want to know where this road goes, with the potential of maybe trying to get more technical with it, I recommend picking up the Super Tenere when you can. Some dealers still have them on the floor. I think they're coming. I don't know if they're coming as a main model like normally again, but there's definitely going to be at least another PDP for them. So it's definitely worth checking out. I would say so far most of the owners that I've seen talk about on forums or whatnot love riding the bike. So I mean, it did something right there if everybody isn't talking about how much they like riding it. So uh, being a heavier bike though, you're gonna have to keep in mind a bigger, heavier bike just inherently has disadvantages going on the super tight technical roads that enduro bikes and motocross bikes can go on, and small dual-purpose bikes. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. Can it do it? I've heard stories and seen videos of it doing it, but that definitely comes down to more rider skill in being able to make it do it in that scenario. So yeah. I did say I was going to stop rambling like minutes ago, so um, I'm going to do that as soon as I get to the ability to turn it off. So take it easy.